Much love, my soldiers and soldierettes. It's been a while since I've showed a visual and talked, and I know you're doing great, cause if you're alive and breathing, that means you're doing great, and that's how I know. So stay up, my brothers and sisters, and let's get to them honors. I honor thy ancestors. I honor my family. I honor my mom, my dad. My mom is still alive and vibrant, and may my dad rest in peace and in power. And I honor my grandparents. May they rest in peace and in power. And like I always say, if any of you have parents or anyone that you held dear, may they rest in peace and in power. And also would like to give protection and power to those in my family and in my circle and in your family and in your circle. I place protection on them and that they be powerful and live a prosperous life. And always reflect, ladies and gentlemen. Reflection will keep you grounded. And I've said this in my book that I'm working on, and I will be talking about my book in previous videos. I'm working on it. I'm up to page 10, half of page 10. And I will be talking about it, but I've talked about it in previous podcasts and videos. And one of the things I always say, extract the needed tools from the past. And I was just thinking about when I went to prison. Yes, I've been in prison. I went to Vandalia, a little hick town. And that's why I put when I went to prison. And that's why I'm talking about reflection. Reflection will keep you grounded. And this is for all my listeners, all my brothers and sisters, my soldiers and soldierettes. Salute. But this is mostly for the youth. And everybody has choices. So make the right one. And most of us, and I salute, like I always say, I salute to all the reachers and the teachers out there that's bringing up those and wanting to see brothers and sisters be more powerful than they have ever been, or leading them to see the power that's already in them. Because a lot of us, we have that, excuse me, it's a little glare on my glasses. I don't like it, but if that's a little glare, excuse me. But a lot of us, we have that power. Like most of us that are teaching now, we always had that power within us. And this is male or female, brother or sister. We just didn't know it. So different things in our lives trigger us. Like, like putting somebody into a corner, or putting somebody on the spot, or, just in life. I'm talking about in life in general. Things happen where you will see the kind of person you really are, especially when it comes to a challenge and obstacles and stuff like that. That's when you will find out the real individual that you are inside, male or female. So that's why it's good to reflect and think back. And again, it will keep you grounded and it will keep you making the right choices. This is for my youth, my young brothers and my young sisters. We have to learn to think. I made a podcast on that, a video, audio. We have to think first. We will gravitate towards so many victories and righteous things in our lives if we would think before we react. And which, of course, I had to do this. I will never teach nothing that I haven't learned myself. And many other brothers and sisters and teachers that you see out here, they've been through this same process. So that's why it's important, whether you're in a relationship or not, and this is for male or female, we have to take those moments to ourselves. We hear this a lot from a lot of our teachers because we know how important it is, because that's when you find yourself. That's when you build. That's when you grow your creativity to whatever that is. It's not always got to be YouTube, and it's not always got to be rapping. It's whatever the creator had, whatever gift the creator has put in you. That's what you manifest. Because something you'll hear me say a lot, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but we all are individuals. We all have different gifts. It's not always speaking or rapping. We got to broaden our horizons and not just limit it to just, one or two or three things. It's a lot of things that a lot of us can do. That's why we take those moments to ourselves and we reflect. And the Creator will send it to our spirit, but we have to be quiet and we have to block out the noise mentally. And then we can manifest what we need to manifest, whatever that is, mentally, and then the physical. Because something you will hear me say time and time again, the body always follows the mind. And if a lot of us, especially my young youth, if you can keep that in your spirit, the body always follows the mind. So what are you thinking in your mind? Are you trying to keep your mind right? Now, a lot of us that teach in an unapologetic way, sister or brother, we didn't arrive at this point, easy. It was a battle. It's a fight. And sometimes when you do become awakened and do become self-aware, there's still going to be obstacles and there's still going to be challenges and battles. And the more you conquer them, the more you'll conquer your mind. And then you'll begin to conquer the physical. And once you got your spiritual and your physical and your mental in balance, everything on the outside will be balanced. Because that's why you hear a lot of us say self-awareness is the best education. Because when you are self-aware, things on the outside are not as overwhelming. And especially when you do a lot of reflecting. And if you one of those that, when you think back to things you did, like I'm just saying me, myself, I did some pretty messed up shit back in the day. That's what landed me in prison. And I'm going to get back to talking about the time I spent in prison too. But I just want to keep speaking on reflecting, because this is one of the tools that I extracted from the past that helps me. When I sit in my quiet times and I think, the way I used to think and the stupid choices I used to make, and we have to analyze our own self. We don't stay in the past, but sometimes because as we're coming up and we're getting older and we're getting wiser, and we make friends along the way and we connect to others, we, especially us, us OG, because I consider myself an OG, and we see other individuals, especially young individuals, brothers or sisters, and we see them doing things. So that's why every now and then we'll go into that reflection bag and we'll pull out things, we'll extract things from that reflection bag to help our youth. So that's why I came up with the topic. Reflection can keep you grounded. It can keep you focused. It can keep you from making the wrong choice. And it can empower you, and don't let yourself, my brothers and sisters, especially my young brothers and sisters, do not get trapped in that woulda, coulda, shoulda shit. Anticipate things. Think about things. Work out scenarios. I say that. I haven't said that in a while, but I did a podcast on that. Scenarios can save your life. If I would have played out this scenario back in the day, because I think it was a good maybe 30, 40 years ago when I went to the penitentiary. If I would have played out scenarios, I wouldn't have went. Now, let's talk about the when I went to the penitentiary. Now, back in the days, this is for my youth. This is for my my older listeners and my young youth, whoever deems to listen. And thank you, by the way, for coming in to another EBX discussion. Forgive me, I meant to say that. And I didn't call down protection, but I would do that before I'm finished. And but like I said, back in the day when I was young, irresponsible, wasn't thinking, and drinking. I used to drink a lot. And I just was going nowhere in life. And when I think about it now, I think it was almost a cry for help, because at that time I wasn't doing nothing with my life. I was just drinking, partying, didn't have a job. I think I was getting a check every month, but it was through public aid and was some kind of assistance, and I was only getting $160 a month or some crap like that in food stamps. Really wasn't doing shit with my life. So got to drinking one night. Was drinking, and lo and behold, walked past this car that had the keys in it, and it was running. Now, that was back in my irresponsible and didn't listen to that good voice days. So, he had the little stupid voice come on and say, why don't you take that car? So I jumped my dumb ass in the car, took off driving. Not only did that was the most stupidest, ignorant thing right off the bat. And the next ignorant thing I did was I picked up two friends and didn't tell them I was in a stolen car. Luckily, nothing ever happened. So dropped them off. And I remember being in the house while the car was parked outside their house. I heard police sirens. So I didn't say anything, scared to death. Luckily, I got them to their destination. So I jumped in the car to leave. And I was going to drive to a girl house, which is ridiculous. But I never made it because they did catch me. And before I could even get the car door open, I had a gun in my face. And luckily, and this was back in the 90s. This was probably mid 90s, I want to say. So the violence with, police pulling people over wasn't as bad back then. So, of course, I got out the car and, of course, I went to jail. And they got me for auto theft. Yeah, because I didn't wreck the car. I still had the keys. I think I took all the change or something that was inside of it. But the owners ended up getting the car back. And I did a year. I got 1 to 3 was my sentence, but I did a year. But I only did 6 months. I did 6 months locked up, and I did the other 6 at my mom's house on house arrest. And that was almost jail. No, but I was glad to, I was thankful and grateful now that I think about it now. I might not have been as appreciative back then because my mind was all screwed up. But when I go back now, that's why I say it's good to reflect. And another thing, I'm going to finish what I got to say, but it's the thing about reflection. It will make you think of those that have helped you along the way. Now, that's another very good, important reason why we should reflect. But I stayed with my mom, and I was on house arrest, and of course, me and my mom, we've had our little differences in the past, but when I've really needed my mom, she was there. And, my dad and my mom weren't together. He didn't live with me, but he did what he needed to do as a father. He didn't make some good choices, but, that's a part of life. But he was in my life, and he did the things he needed to do when they needed to be done, so because that's a subject that I can never judge or dump on because I have my issues with my kids, and I remember how irresponsible I was and how selfish I used to be. So I've come to understand that now. And why do I understand that, ladies and gentlemen? Because I reflect. It's important, ladies and gentlemen, my young brothers and sisters, reflect, especially if I don't care if it's one bad thing or a lot. You have to keep reflecting. It will keep you from making the same mistake for one, and 2, you won't make any more mistakes. Or if you do, it'll be out of, not on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's good to reflect. And, I said this in the videos, do self checks on yourself. Hold on. Excuse me, y'all. Where's that at? Hold on. Excuse me. Back. Sorry about that, y'all. Phone was going off. Made me mad. Got me off my message. But like I said, though, that's why it's very good to reflect and, think back to the wrong toxic things that we've done. And like I said, my brothers and sisters, my soldiers and soldierettes, salute. It will keep you grounded. And that's my little story of when I went to prison. And something else I want to talk about. And I met some very, very great brothers when I was locked up. The most realest brothers I would ever meet. And they really liked the brother. And they told me, never come back. And I didn't belong there. Because I didn't, But that's where wrong choices can lead you. And for my young youth out there, for thinking they tough and hard and strong, you ain't met shit till you went in prison. And the thing I've learned about prison, now depending on what penitentiary you go to, it's all how you are as an individual. If you go in there quiet and you mind your own and don't go in there talking shit and thinking you're hard and just do your time, most of the time people won't mess with you. It's those that are cocky and boisterous and coming there talking shit, nobody better not F with me and all that. If you come in there with that kind of attitude, and this is just in life in general, people are going to try you. So we have to pick our battles, ladies and gentlemen, and always reflect and use that reflection to make us greater and to help another individual be greater. And always use our past, extract the needed tools of the past to make a greater future for ourselves and our brothers and sisters. So that's my message. Reflect, and it will keep you grounded, and it will keep you in, like I said, use your reflection to teach others. And that's all we need to be using the past for. Not to dwell on it, not to hurt ourselves or to hurt anybody else. Because it's all about, I'll say this all the time. We cannot, I repeat, cannot disrupt that flow of the universe. Because it's so great when our brothers and sisters, and I mean all of us, period, are getting along and teaching and growing. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's not about all this bullshit that's going on online. That's why I'm not paying it any mind. I'm focused on the hearts, the minds, and the souls of the young and the old. I'm not jumping on any damn bandwagons. We need to cut that shit out. That's why we need to go through reflection and stop judging others. Sit back, let the universe work. We talking a little too much out here. We need to check ourselves. Real talk. So, and I'm saying this out of love. So, again, reflection will keep you grounded. So that's my positive thought. That's my real thought. And thank to those who took the time to join in to another EBX discussion. My soldiers and soldierettes, salute. I want the best for you, me, our family. And I call down protection from my great creator, for ourselves, from ourselves. Because sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. And I see it online and social media all the time. And what's sad is a lot of individuals here on this social media don't even see what the hell they're doing. And I call down protection on those that bring the light into them. And stop all this petty shit. And let's stay powerful, my brothers and sisters. Because that's, we got people out there that need us, teachers and speakers out here. We got to stop letting shit drag us away from the mission. Real talk. So I give honor to my children. I give honor to their mothers, my family, brothers and sisters all over the world. May you have peace in your part of the world, wherever you are right now. One.